Imagine waking up to diesel prices hitting 130 pesos per liter. For millions who rely on the road to survive, this wasn't just a headline. Jeepney drivers in Pasig, delivery riders in Cebu, farmers in Isabela. By late March 2026, it was an economic earthquake. The Middle East crisis pushed global oil past $100 per barrel. The Philippines, importing nearly every drop of fuel, stood directly in the splash zone. But as pump prices climbed, rapid-fire orders emerged from Malacañang Palace. This is the story of how the government scrambled to shield the nation. The turning point came on March 24, 2026. President Marcos signed Executive Order 110, declaring a national energy emergency. This triggered the Uplift program, a unified emergency package with sweeping powers. Suddenly, the DOE could bypass standard procurement to secure emergency fuel. A 60-day national fuel buffer would shield the country from global shocks. Under emergency powers, the first major shipment was secured from Russia, a controversial but necessary move to ensure the Philippines wouldn't go dark. While big ships moved, the streets were hurting from price pain. The president's message to transport regulators was blunt: speed up the aid. A 2.5 billion peso fund was unlocked for immediate distribution. The government ditched paper stubs and went fully digital with the subsidies. By April, millions were beamed directly into drivers' digital wallets nationwide. Jeepney operators received 10,000 pesos. Tricycle drivers got 5,000 tranches. To protect commuters, the president overruled the proposed fare hike completely. He calculated that with subsidies flowing, a fare increase would double hurt workers. But the biggest weapon was Republic Act 12316. For years, the fuel excise tax was seen as completely untouchable. The new law created a trigger tied directly to global oil prices. Once oil stayed above $80 for a full month, suspension powers activated. By mid-April, the Finance Department prepared to pull that emergency trigger, a move expected to slash pump prices overnight, despite budget consequences, even if it meant a 121 billion peso budget hole. The crisis even changed how the government itself operated internally. To lead by example, the executive branch moved to a 4-day workweek. Government agencies were ordered to slash fuel and power use by 20%. Libre Sakay free rides returned to the EDSA carousel bus system. Kadiwa centers expanded, selling government-subsidized rice at 20 pesos per kilo. The strategy was clear: government must push the cost of living back down. As of today, the Philippines remains in a high-stakes balancing act. The pumps are still expensive, and the global outlook remains uncertain. But through emergency powers and strategic reserves, a goal emerged clearly: ensure that even if the world is in flames, the Filipino light stays on. Digital aid delivered to 139,000 drivers nationwide. From Luzon's jeepneys to Mindanao's tricycles, relief arrived through technology. But in the remote provinces, some communities still waited for help. The archipelago geography means some islands are harder to reach than others. Critics questioned whether subsidies could be sustained beyond the emergency period. The 121 billion peso budget hole raised serious fiscal concerns. Yet the president argued that economic collapse would cost far more. The international fuel deal with Russia remained diplomatically controversial but operationally necessary. Western allies expressed concern, but no alternative suppliers offered better terms. The question now is, will these measures outlast the global crisis? As global oil markets remain volatile, the Philippines watches and waits. Operation Fuel Shield bought time, but the larger energy transition remains unfinished. Only time will tell if emergency measures become permanent solutions. For now, the jeepneys roll, the tricycles run, and the lights stay on. And that, for millions of Filipinos, makes all the difference tonight. This was Operation Fuel Shield, the mission to keep the Philippines moving forward.